Hi guys, this is Dimanshu from Team CaptureKit, and this is a small tutorial on building an automation to take markdown of all the URLs that a domain has. So you need to provide this workflow a domain, and then it will extract all the URLs in it. And for each URL, it will give you their markdown format in a Google Sheet. The API that we are using for this automation is CaptureKit's Page Content API, and it gives us output of a particular page in Markdown format, as well as it also gives the URL a domain has. So as you can see the output from here that it has given the URLs this domain has. So we will be using this API 2 times in our workflow. First over in the third module, over here in the sixth module, which is with the name HTTP request one. So I'll go through the configuration of each node so that you get a good idea of how this automation is built. So our automation starts with a trigger. You can have a manual trigger over here, or I would like to have it scheduled. So there is a schedule trigger node here. Then I am getting the domain from my Google Sheets. So I'm using the operation get rows in the sheet, and this is the Google Sheet that I'm using. Over here on the domain one tab, I am entering the domain for which I want all the URLs and their respective markdown format. In the sheet 2 which is with the name markdown, I'm getting all the URLs with again the markdown format that I want. So this is the configuration of my Google Sheets. As you can see, this is the name of my Google Sheet. This is the particular domain. This is the particular sheet which has the name domain from which we are getting the domain for which we want to get the markdown format, and this is what we have got over here. Now our third module would be HTTP request, wherein we are using this endpoint, and you can see how to use this API in the documentation of CaptureKit's Page Content API. This is the endpoint, and you need to pass some extra parameters to run this API. So you need to have access key, which you get from signing up to this platform. You get 100 free credits to test this API. Then the other parameter that you have to pass is URL, and this is the URL for us. To get the links of all the pages that a domain has, we need to include this parameter as well. So this is the parameter, and we have to set its value to true. Let's execute this step also and see what output data we get. So you can see that we have got the data, and these are the links that this domain has, which we have to pass to this API again and get the markdown format. The next node is split out because the data that we get is in the form of array, and all the links need to have separate data fields so that we can take markdown of each one by one. And you can see that after splitting out them, and we get every URL in a data field. After that, we have a loop because again we want to get markdown of one URL at one time, and this is how this API works. It cannot get you markdown of multiple URLs. So each time you have to pass one URL to it and get the markdown format. Over here we are again using the page content API, the access key we have, the URL, and to get the markdown format we have to use this parameter, which is include underscore markdown to true, and this API gives you the markdown of that particular page. So as you can see that after executing this step, we have got the markdown format over here, which we need to then take to our Google Sheets, and we are taking it in our second sheet, which is with the name of markdown, and here we are taking the URLs from our loop node. So this is the node from which we are taking the URL, and for this respective URL we get the markdown format over here, and we execute this step. So once we execute it, we get the markdown format, and after that we have to loop it with our loop node. So the output of the Google Sheets node goes back to our loop node, and this way we get markdown of all the URLs in a domain. And I have already tested this setup, and in the Google Sheet you get the data in this format, wherein we have in column A the URLs, and this is the URL for which the Markdown format is in column B. So by using this Page Content API from CaptureKit, you can get the Markdown format of many URLs in a single go by this automation. I will link to the blueprint of this automation in the description section, and if you are watching this on LinkedIn or anywhere else, I would provide it in the comments. Thank you for watching this video, and you can always sign up to CaptureKit to get 100 free credits to test this API, and you can read the documentation over here to understand how the API works. If you need any help, you can comment on this video or can mail us to our support, and we'll be ready to support you guys. Watching this video, have a good day.